Would you like to learn from those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level? Best-selling author of Speakeasy and master connector Lou Diamond is here to connect you to some of the most inspiring and amazing people on this planet. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Hello, welcome to Thrive Loud. My name is Isabel Escalante, and I'm a third-year Communication and Information Science major at Cornell University. I'm an intern for Thrive Loud Productions this semester and will host today's incredible Intern Takeover episode. I'm here with my fellow interns who are also Cornell University students, Ben, Emma, Ashley, Mihir, and Matt. Today we'll journey through the uncertainty of life and discuss what the transitional period into adulthood looks like in this day and age. Before we begin, I'd like to welcome my fellow interns. If you all can give an introduction stating your full name, year, what you're currently working on at Thrive Loud Productions, and your dream career.
So, my name is Ben Jordan. I'm a first year at the Dyson School. And I currently do the advertising campaigns for TLP. And I would love to be an entrepreneur focusing on innovation in the area of human longevity.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma Alexander. I'm a junior. I study communication with minors in creative writing and environmental sustainability. I do voiceover work with Thrive Loud Productions, which is super fun. And my dream career is going into film, which I will be doing. I'm going to have a positive mindset.
Hey everyone, my name is Manno. I am a sophomore at Cornell studying communication, and at Thrive Law Production I do a lot of the video editing, graphic design, and motion design. It's been really fun, really rewarding, and I've learned so much from it. Oh, and I forgot to say my dream career. Yeah, no, my dream career is going either something into the world of sports broadcasting or sports uniform design. I've been doing a lot of that here at Cornell, and we'll talk about that later, but either one would be awesome for me.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Hi, I'm Ashley Kim. I'm also a sophomore studying communication with minors in business and InfoSci. And currently I'm working with Thrive to come up with a lot of the ideas for the social media campaigns. And although I don't have a dream career set, I really want to work in media or marketing, or somewhere in entertainment. So yeah.
Okay, Ashley. Hi, I'm Mihir Madhumapantula. I'm a freshman at Dyson. Currently at Thrive Loud, I am working with Ashley with some of the ideas of the social media campaigns. And my dream career would be to get into finance.
Thank you all so much for sharing. We're first going to dive deep into looking back at the past. We're not starting at birth, but rather at the pivotal moment when independence and adulthood truly begin, college. So transitioning to college is a unique experience for everyone. There is no right way to do it, but it is comforting to know that we can lean on each other for support, especially since we're all going through this time. So take risks, make mistakes, get involved, and ask lots of questions, because at the end of the day, this is your time to discover who you are. So to start us off, Ben, you have now completed your first semester at Cornell. What has been the biggest challenge in adjusting to college life?
Oh my gosh, the workload, for sure. That was such a big adjustment. Mihir can attest to this. Our class, business management and organizations, doing these 1,500 word case studies, having to be super analytical, and then getting destroyed in the grading process. It was definitely more of an eye-opening experience into the expectations at Cornell. And also, I would say another sort of eye-opening experience was how competitive it is. You always kind of have to be on your A game, and you always have to be in the know, I guess. And I mean, especially in Dyson with clubs, internships, all of that sort of thing. It's just definitely just been enhancing my work ethic, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like as a junior now, I feel more comfortable going into each semester, but like again, like the workload like kind of took me by surprise too. And then also just the mindset everyone has here of like grinding 24/7, where it's like you gotta be involved in clubs, you gotta have like a on-campus job, classes, different things like that.
I can fully relate with Brand with the cases and the feeling involved in my course. The amount of sleepless nights I've spent and how we got destroyed at grading is just insane.
Yeah, I know. I feel like when it comes to entering college too, you're all by yourself in some way. It's like my family lives all the way in California, so coming to New York was a big adjustment. Um, so for like Ashley, if you could give yourself one piece of advice to your freshman year self, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a question I get a lot from a lot of people, but I feel like just looking back on my freshman year, what I can really remember and I would say is just really be patient with yourself, as cliche as it is. And I feel like adjusting to college takes so much time. And everyone has their own path, and there's no set way that you need to adjust. It's different for everyone. And it should be really okay if things don't fall into place right away. And I think really like pushing yourself to join the clubs you want to join, to really attend those attends, and to kind of step out of your comfort zone, even when it feels really intimidating. And I feel like looking back on it, it was all worth it. All those moments I really felt uncomfortable, I think truly they end up being one of the most memorable experiences. And I think just remembering all those small milestones, building all the connections I was able to, meet through those uncomfortable moments, I think it was all worth it. And like really, this is like my last, I would say, is trust kind of the process and know that you're really capable of handling more than you think because you were able to get here. And I just feel like having that grace with yourself truly is like my biggest advice for freshmen.
I can attest to this wholeheartedly. I think when you talk about giving yourself grace, I did not do that at all my freshman year. And I don't understand how, because I came in with like full denial that I was even going to college. Like I didn't post myself on the Cornell 2027 Instagram page, which for anyone entering college, please do try and meet people through social media before you come to campus. It put me at a huge disadvantage. And then I got mad at myself when I struggled socially in my first month, 2 months in my freshman fall semester. Like it almost like it wasn't to be expected when I came in not knowing anybody. Like it's not to say that you can't have a good social life early coming in not knowing anybody, but I didn't take the initiative when other people were and put myself at a disadvantage. And what happened was I ended up just joining as many clubs as I can. Ended up getting leadership roles in them a lot earlier than maybe some of my peers. Welcome to a really good situation at the radio station where the exact position I wanted was vacant. Got elected in October of my freshman fall. And then eventually those friendships started falling into place. So not to say that, so all hope wasn't lost for me. And now I'm in a much better spot. So see, I've met so many incredible people at Cornell. So, it just takes a long time to adjust. It wasn't really till my spring semester freshman year where I started competing with the club track team, where I started getting more on-air opportunities, where I had my first like uniform design opportunity, and all these things started falling into place that I was hoping to get a lot earlier. They just happened the semester later, but it's okay. And that adjustment period allowed me to really get my organizational skills into place that fall semester, where I was just focused on myself, and it allowed me to do everything I am doing right now. So I think giving yourself grace, if things don't go to plan, is the best advice that I could give to someone going into my freshman year self. It's okay if things doesn't go exactly 100% on script. If I can go on script, off script when I'm on the radio station as much as I do, why can't I do it in my life? And I feel like that's the biggest advice that I can give to myself.
Yeah, searching for a little bit of advice here. Did a lot of your like close friendships that you have now come from the clubs?
100%. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I was very lucky to the club that I put the most work into my freshman fall. It was Big Red Sports Network, and that was such a close-knit community, especially within the broadcasting department. Whereas there's only like you were talking about competitiveness in the Dyson program. There's a lot of competitive nation in the comm program as well, and just in the entire school. But with the broadcasting department, there's only 2 spots in the broadcast booth for any given day. So you would think there'd be a lot of like a big competitive nature, but to get those 2 spots for each game. But no, it's actually everyone's so thoughtful, everyone's so helpful, and everyone's so inclusive to the point where not only did in the past semester did we were able to help each other so much. We formed a friend group within the department. So it was something that I was able to take and then use myself when I was leading and founding the WBBR sports department. So I think that just giving yourself grace and using the clubs that not only will give you professional development opportunities, but at least take for your social life, if you need that, take one club of just something that you're interested in. Doesn't have to be connected to your professional aspirations. Just do something because you like it, whether it's a club sport, whether it's an interest club, whether it's something else that you enjoy doing in your free time. And those could very well become, like it happened to me, the closest relationships that you have on campus.
Yeah, and to chime in, I would also say when it comes to classes, whether it's the first or second semester your freshman year, try to make like a classroom friend. Just because I found that super helpful when it came to getting to meet people my first couple weeks being at Cornell. It can be really intimidating, and I would say like I'm an introvert at heart. So kind of stepping outside of my comfort zone and kind of just sitting next to someone and be like, hey, I'm Izzy, like what's your name? Like, can we be friends? And making those like small connections will kind of help you also gain the confidence to do that outside the classroom setting. College is really big here, and there's so many people, so many diverse backgrounds. So it's like you're gonna be able to meet people, but just make sure that you're taking that risk. Like lean into that discomfort and kind of explore your passions, and like don't let fear stop you, because at the end of the day, you're gonna find your place, you're gonna find your people, and you're gonna make memories throughout these next 4 years in your life. And pivoting from that, Mihir, what moment solidified for you that you made the right choice in picking Cornell?
I think just the amount of opportunities I got once I got here. Obviously, one of the opportunities is the internship with Travel Out. Other than that, being in Dyson or being in Cornell in general, I've been offered a lot of opportunities. For example, I was offered the Dyson leadership program, where I've been with Ben there as well. We've been to get a catalyst program. There are like various programs and opportunities that I have the chance to choose from. And I think that's the part which made me feel like, yes, I belong here. This is where I want to be. I feel this is right. This is where I want to be. That is one part which solidified my choice of coming to Cornell.
Yeah, to kind of add to what Mihir said, Cornell always stood out to me as a school I wanted to apply prior to coming here, especially because I knew I wanted to be part of the great communication program they have here. And I knew it had like the academic rigor, the opportunities I needed really to grow. But I feel like when people are asked this question of like what solidified your whole experience, for me, I feel like it wasn't like a single moment. I feel like it was more like a cumulative like realization of the fact that, oh, Cornell has challenged me in so many ways that I found like, and I later realized both academically and personally. And I feel like, whether that's like through navigating my first group project here, attending office hours to talk with my professors and building that connection, or even like exploring the campus by myself to find like a good studies like spot. I think that whole culmination of those experiences really kind of was what made me realize I belonged here. And I think realizing that, oh, by the end of the day, like I went through all my classes, I did all of this, and I just felt so accomplished with having been able to do this. I think that's when it hit me that, oh, I could handle all this, and that I was growing into a person I truly kind of wanted to be here. And, I've just never looked back since then, because this university only kind of continues to push me, and teach me things I know I couldn't have learned like elsewhere. But yeah, that was that for me.
Great. Thank you guys all so much for sharing about kind of your transition to college. To kind of wrap up this segment, I'd like to ask Emma, as a fellow junior, what would be that one piece of advice you would give your freshman self?
Oh, that's a great question, because now I'm far removed from it. So now I have a bit more insight, but I would echo what everyone else has said. Give yourself some grace, give yourself some time. Everyone is struggling, even if they don't say it, even if they don't look it. Yeah, definitely join as much as possible. I'm actually even currently in, I think, one club that has to do with my career and nothing else. So do what is right for you, whatever that may be. Would probably be my biggest piece of advice, because every single one of your friends, every single one of your classmates is going to be doing something different. So their pathway might not be your pathway. So just do what you have to do for you, and you will be okay.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I definitely agree. Like, there's times where I get caught up about what everyone else is doing. And like, especially on LinkedIn, seeing people's posts about like summer 25, summer 26 internships already. I'm just like, Jesus. But remember that this is your own personal experience. Yes, you're going to meet amazing people who will help you grow throughout your journey. But kind of explore your passions, take a lot of classes, especially like distribution classes. I know that I found InfoSci through one of my requirements that I wouldn't have otherwise kind of discovered if I didn't take it. But thank you all so much for sharing. Now we will skip forward into the future and discuss how we're hoping to make a difference in the world. As I previously mentioned, being a third-year undergrad means I'm close to graduating and entering the workforce. However, it can be intimidating to think about the future because I just don't know what's going to happen. All I can do now is put in all the work to gain the experience and then see where it goes from there. To start us off, anyone can comment on this question. What career and personal goals have you set for yourself that you hope to achieve after college?
I mean, I can take this. I know I'm only a sophomore, and I see Emma wanted to jump in, so I'll let her go as well. I think for me, not knowing exactly what the role is that I want, what the job is that I want, I'm in a really unique position where I can just try as much as I want while I'm here and kind of let that guide my experience. So I feel like for me, and as at my current state, I don't care what my career necessarily is right now. It's more that I want to be a part of something that interests me, that gets me hooked. Because once I am hooked on the trail of something, I know I don't stop, and I won't stop until I'm up there with the best of the best. And I know I've proven that. So for me, I feel like just something that engages me, that interests me, and is something bigger than myself. Wherever that may take me, I feel like that's where I want to go.
Yeah, kind of what to add to like what Matt said. I feel like before, like we're only sophomores, and I feel like we still have so much yet that we've not learned or like explored yet at Cornell. And I feel like postgrad it feels so far away, but everyone says it goes by really fast, which is really scary to think about. But also realizing that I have so much I want to do at Cornell, I think is also really exciting. And so like next year I'm planning to study abroad in like Australia, which is something I've always wanted to do prior to college. And I feel like just wanting to, that's more of like a personal goal for me, like traveling. And I feel like trying to make the most of my time with that has been something I've been thinking about. So yeah.
That's so funny, Ashley. I was going to actually say traveling, and you should totally do study abroad. I had an internship in Cambodia this past summer, which was amazing and fantastic and lovely. So if you can travel, totally do it. So that's my goal after Cornell, is to meet as many people as possible and go as many places as possible.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm going abroad next semester, and I'm super excited to kind of just get the opportunity to study in a new country, but also kind of re-experience what it's like transitioning to college and kind of getting comfortable in that new environment. I definitely agree with who, like, even as a junior, I don't really know what I want to do after college, and it is kind of scary to admit, but I think kind of like what Matt was saying, I know that through my career, I want to make a difference. And the thing that I keep echoing throughout like interviews I have for internships or talking to my advisor is that like through my career, I want to be able to uplift marginalized voices, whether it's through media, news, or technology. So kind of diving into classes here with like info sci and comm, I'm able to kind of get those skill sets that I know that will allow me to excel after college. It's more of like, I just don't have that pinpointed yet. And kind of seeing the future of like how things are going and like policies, career opportunities. It's like, it's just unknown. It's uncertain. But I know that, as I mentioned, I'm still going to put in that work to do the things to be successful. So for Emma, how has the internship process been going for you, and what has been the biggest obstacle to overcome?
So it's been going. I found out, and I didn't know people didn't know this, but I was talking to some family members of mine, and I found out that a lot of older adults don't know this, is that a lot of our first round of interviews, at least for my field specifically, are asynchronous. So it's pre-recorded questions.
Yeah.
So I've never been taught how to talk to a computer or to myself in a room by myself. I've always prided myself. I always say I can talk to a brick wall if needed, but there's something about a recorded video interview that is really terrifying and scary. And it's a lot of our first steps in a lot of these internship processes. And so it's so difficult to figure out how to navigate that. But it's actually not the biggest obstacle I've found. I've actually found my biggest obstacle to be timeline. So the film industry and entertainment in general is on a completely different timeline than most other industries. They're actually currently recruiting for the spring semester right now. So comparison with everyone else at Cornell is really difficult because people have their internships lined up for this summer and the summer of 2026. Meanwhile, my industry is for this upcoming semester. So navigating that is probably one of the trickier parts, which was surprising because it actually has nothing to do with the process at all. But it's just recognizing that every single field is on a different timeline. And so knowing that going in really helps because it wasn't something I knew prior to this year. And I absolutely panicked freshman and sophomore year, not knowing what I was doing and being on that different timeline, but being aware that, yes, some people know 2 years in advance, but many others do not know where they will be.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like when it comes to like the internship timeline, it's important to kind of understand the different industries and how they go through recruitment and kind of go from there. Matt, you're going to say something?
Yeah, no, I was going to say something about the virtual interviews. Those virtual interviews, I actually just had my first one recently, and I come from a wide range of like broadcast experience, talking in front of a camera, talking to people, talking on Zoom or whatever, and yet somehow I still found a way to freeze up. It's something about these phone interviews that get me, and I don't enjoy talking about myself or about my accomplishments. It's not something that I necessarily enjoy, although sometimes I have to do it. But talking in front of those phone interviews, I remember the first one I did, it was thankfully most of the questions I got a second attempt in case we had technical difficulties. So what I did was I did the first one, and I feel like most people can relate to this. And I was literally, this happened over this Thanksgiving break. I was up and just pacing around my kitchen table, walking myself through the questions. So I would do the first one under just based on what I know off the top of my head, and then stand up. This is what I did well. This is what I need to improve of. Probably got really mad at myself for the first attempt. And then after 2, 3, 4 minutes of doing that, I sat down and tried again and did better. And I don't know if this is necessarily not something you should do, not something that is, like you said, something that's frowned upon, but it's what I did because I was just so new. Like I didn't realize that I wasn't even expecting to get a second attempt. So I'm like, oh my God, I have this lifeline. I'm going to take advantage. So it was completely different for me.
Yeah, I have like a couple experiences with the virtual interviews. I would say, especially when they're like the video ones where you submit a video of yourself. Those always freak me out and I freeze up just because it's like I have this prompt and then I have this like timer for how much I could like record. And it's like I'm just sitting there trying to like come up with this response, make it as like thorough as possible, but like not oversharing. And then like I want to touch on this and make sure I emphasize like this skill. But then I just see this whole like countdown and then I just start freaking out.
I feel like it's horrible too, because like if it's recorded, it's like you kind of almost have to be more perfect with your response than like if you were just sitting there speaking to someone, because they can go back and like watch the recording and like actually relay and like on what your response was, versus if you were just talking to someone and you can just be like way more chill and actually have the opportunity to mess up. But with these, it's like you have to be a perfect human being, which doesn't make sense at all.
You
I
know,
think
I actually, wait, yeah, I completely agree with Ben, and it's just so funny because you just feel like this robot, and just having to like kind of hold yourself to this expectation of every response being better than the other. It's just, yeah, it's like a mental thing once you're like doing these virtual interviews, and I feel like since like the pandemic, it's the rise of these virtual interviews have only increased, and we're only going to see more of them. So it's like learning to kind of embrace this, but it's been really difficult, I will say.
I think it's something that goes on just in the recruitment and hiring industry everywhere, that I think candidates from internships level to higher ups are expected to be more polished and more well rehearsed than ever, because with all new technology, with all these new application forms, and you have AI now that can complete applications for you. I personally don't use it because I just feel like it's immoral and not a representation of myself, but people do use AI to review resumes, use them to submit resumes or revise their own resumes. And I feel like the quicker the quicker applications become, the higher a standard people will be held to. And I think that goes from like even needing experience just to get internships. It feels like, whether it's on campus or you need an internship to get an internship, but how do I get one if I need one? Stuff like that. It feels like people are being held to higher and higher standard, and that's not inherently a bad thing. I mean, it's a lot more challenging, it's a lot more stressful, but that's how we grow as a society, is holding people to higher standards than their predecessors. And I think that's something that should be celebrated and should be looked forward to. I think it's a sign of growth.
I'm just wondering, going off of that, do you think though that maybe with these like advancements, it's taken away from like the the candidate's personality when it comes to the hiring process? Because I feel like it's one thing to be really polished, and then like you have this resume that's full of like so much experience and like all this technical like jargon, let's say, but maybe how would that translate into like collaborating with teams and kind of being that teammate that helps excel the company and their mission?
I think personality becomes so much more important now, actually, with all the tech in play. What I tell my brother, who's currently applying to college, it's not going to be, he has the metrics to get him into the schools that he's looking for. He has the test scores, he has the grades. It's going to be like the essays is what set you apart. That's That's the case in Ivy League applications all the way down to it goes all the way in the college application submission. So why is that not the same in job recruitment and internships? I think your personality, whether it's being shown through the video that we had to submit to get this internship, or whether it's shown through a portfolio that you have to submit, which I have. It's one of the, I think the interview becomes, or the first, second, or the later round interviews where you're with the recruiter can really let your personality shine through. That is so much more important.
I would completely agree, but also for a slightly different reason. I think you get a really big discrepancy in terms of who has had opportunities and who has not. And it normally is that people that are wealthier have more opportunities. So they have the opportunity to have this experience or teach someone how to do some of these hard skills. So I would really emphasize, and it's what I've done in interviews when I've hosted interviews in the past, personality and enthusiasm. And I would like to see moving forward that be emphasized more within the recruiting process, and the individual rather than the skills they have. Because you can always teach skills. You can't really teach someone how to be a team player or creativity or anything like that.
Yeah, thank you guys for sharing, because I also agree. Like, I feel like being polished is really helpful when it comes to kind of just being able to talk about myself in these like complex interviews, because it's like sometimes they're asking questions that like I didn't prepare for, but I know that I can trust myself to pull from like an experience I've had, whether it's through like a club, classroom project, or my job here at Cornell. So I definitely agree. It's like you could showcase your personality and your passions through the interview process. I'm interested to see maybe how they evolve around that too. And for my last question in the segment, Mihir, what resources have set you up for success now that you hope to continue utilizing in the professional world?
Okay. I think a big thing in, like, you're talking about clubs, a very big thing here is concept of coffee chatting everyone, to talk to everyone, build connections with them. I think that is the topmost thing that I've learned, the best thing that I've learned here. And that's one resource that I want to use even in the future, even in the professional world, because if I'm able to nurture that sort of environment in me, that sort of behavior in me, where I'm able to talk to different people in an organization, understand different viewpoints and find different perspectives to see whether I'm a good fit for them or if they are a good fit for me. I think that is one resource that is unbeatable. And in my opinion, that's the best resource that I have taken. And other than that, maybe it's a lot of behavioral stuff, because again, I'm not used to the American culture. I mean, I got used to it now, but then it took me a little while because I'm on the way from India, right? So it took me a little while to understand a lot of cultural norms. But then once I did, I think now these resources will help me in the professional.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like coffee chats through my clubs and like looking at like YouTube videos about internship experiences, like they also emphasize like get to know the team that you're interning for and kind of get involved in that company, and hopefully that can lead to success later on. Now, reflecting on the present moment, Cornell University is a place where you have a vast network to explore, make connections, and grow. Compared to freshman year, I am more confident in myself and excited to implement what I've learned in the classroom into the real world. So Matt, what extracurricular activities have been most meaningful to you and why?
I think the single most impactful thing that I've done is join the Cornell Media Guild, join the student radio station here, WVBR 93.5 FM. It's provided me with all of the experience that I could have hoped for, and then some. I got to host my own sports radio show. I got to do a little bit of social media campaigns and just use it as a way to be very creative with my graphic design, and then also lead them through a full rebrand and now a 90th anniversary marketing campaign. And on top of all that, we've been able to get our press passes back, so now we can be a part of the actual media at Cornell athletics games. Just did one of the hockey games against Quinnipiac. So it's huge. It was huge for me professionally, but then also this semester we've become just so much closer as a club with all these departments. And I really do think that the being in a smaller sports department of just 5 guys, that we've become a really tight knit group. And I think it's been a really good experience to be able to kind of build that from the ground up alongside the guy who I do my shows with, just him and I kind of building that from the ground up and giving people that opportunity to be on air. And I think it's a really special thing when we had our first show together. So I think it was so fulfilling.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That sounds incredible. And this semester I was in sports communication, which is a class in the comm department, and it was super interesting.
Take that.
Yeah, I definitely recommend. It's so fun, and Professor Burns is like an incredible teacher that really kind of dives into the topic with like these units that kind of show like a complex identity that's intersected with sports. And being able to collaborate with my classmates have, it's been like really insightful, because then you get to see different perspectives, and then connecting that all to the world of sports has been exciting, because I knew about the industry, but I didn't know how maybe I could see myself in it. So I definitely recommend that class. Mihir, how has being part of Cornell's community shaped your confidence and personal growth?
I think definitely it is the way I interacted with my peers and my friends. Not only being in Cornell, but being in Dyson itself is such an experience. So having friends in Dyson, having peers in Dyson challenge you and make you do better. For example, when we were talking about a business management class, and that class really took me for a roller coaster ride throughout the semester. There's a lot of ups and downs and ups and downs. You go 1 week in, you score well, and the next week you did badly for the same thing that you did last week. So I think because of how I have tried to adapt myself around what the class is, and also how my peers and my friends have adapted themselves around, and the way I've seen them adapt themselves has changed the way of what I think. And then when it comes to my confidence increasing, I think this definite increase in confidence is talking like this to like a bunch of people on camera back in 2020, maybe back in high school, it would have been a bit of a stretch for me. But now I feel really comfortable doing that. And I think it's definitely thanks to the community here.
Yeah, building off what Mihir was talking about, the cool thing about Dyson is that it's only 150 kids, like around there. And you kind of know what everyone's doing, like what internships people are getting, what clubs they're in. So it really makes you put like kind of a lot of pressure on yourself, but also like increase your standard a lot to try to still stick with your peers and compete with your peers. But it also, like, the cool element with that is that everyone is more, I guess, collaborative, and everyone is more of like, it's like a team. It's like we're all it's like 150 kids trying to get through Dyson. It's not like we're all just competing the entire time against each other. So there's definitely a big community aspect, and that's definitely helped the process of getting through college so far.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like in the comm department, it's also pretty small. I'm not sure the exact number, but I know that most of the people that I do have classes with, I often kind of see in every comm class. So I've been able to kind of ask for advice, ask, hey, which class have you taken? Which ones did you find really helpful or insightful that kind of pushed you towards your career goals? So I feel like being in a smaller major has its benefits, because then you get to know kind of those who are also in the major well, and can kind of bounce off each other for support in classes, advice, and kind of career like opportunities. So to wrap up our episode, I'd like each intern to answer the following questions. How is Thrive Loud Productions helping you fulfill your goals? What have you learned? And how will this set you up for success in the future?
Ooh, okay. So going back to like my dream career, which is being an entrepreneur, doing the advertisement campaigns and looking into a lot of that stuff for Lou it's opened my eyes to how hard the whole like marketing thing is with figuring out, okay, should we run carousel ads? Should we run video ads? What should be the budget for this campaign? And I think that's been an invaluable experience. Like it's gonna set me up for being able to do the advertisements when I get into the entrepreneurship field, but it also like has grown the creativity aspect of myself, because like when Lou gives you a project, he leaves it kind of open-ended, I feel like, so you have a lot of creativity to implement your own ideas and aspects to it, and he's just like, yeah, whatever you come up with. So I feel like that's been pretty cool. But yeah, I'd say that's what it's helped me with.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
no. Yeah, no, sorry. I felt like I almost like jumping the line a little bit. I know we had this order, but I felt like what Ben said was so much what I was also took away is what Thrive Lab Productions really gave me was just confidence in my own work. I felt like my processes and my style as a designer, as an editor, is so unique in the field, and I wasn't sure if that was a good thing or a bad thing. So getting these projects, getting all these things open ended. The intro to the show was my main project of the semester, and I was like, I did it my way. I didn't go off what I saw. I did it my way, and it was not the most confident one until Lou's feedback came back and he loved it. So I think the best thing that I take away from this is confidence that my work is quality. It is, and doing it the way I had envisioned is the right way for me. So just having that experience is so beneficial going into my career.
Yeah, I think that, I want to go into storytelling. And so any opportunity I have to tell a story, I am there. I want to do it. I have loads of fun doing it. So I've gotten to do a lot of voiceover work, which has been so cool and exciting and amazing. I didn't know how difficult it was to do that and talk to yourself in a room and just go for it. But it's so interesting to learn how to tell a story with just your voice, and you don't realize how much of storytelling is visual until the visual component's gone. And so being able to do voiceover work has been a lot of fun, and learning the ins and outs of production with Lou and all of that has been really amazing. It's really taught me a lot about production and about storytelling in ways that I haven't thought about before. So thinking about outside of the box with Thrive Lab has been a lot of fun.
And my biggest things to be from whatever I've done so far of style out is I've built a lot of confidence, right? Because I used to have a lot of ideas, a lot of things I wanted to execute, but then I never was, like, which again sounds similar to what Ben is saying and what Matthew was saying. Yeah, I wasn't very confident about my own ideas. I used to second guess myself a lot, but like when we had conversations with Lou and when I had conversations with Ashley and Lou, I think that approval of ideas and how they've loved it and how they think that that idea is going to work. I think that part is like, it's helping me build confidence so that I can, I can back myself. Right? I can back my ideas. I don't give out bad ideas. So that's the one thing that has built in me. If you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I feel like kind of reflecting on the internship so far, like TLP Lou, I feel like it's been very rewarding. And I feel like this internship kind of showed me how much I really enjoy diving into these hands-on projects, working with Matt, Ben, Mihir on a lot of the social media and advertising campaigns have been really like rewarding in that sense. And I feel like seeing kind of the ideas I wrote down on just like a Google Doc, and seeing it actually come to life with, the recordings that Lou has with his ads, I think that's been really cool. And just seeing that impact and seeing that it's like this tangible result is always such a thrilling and exciting thing. And I think this whole experience has really taught me to think outside of the box. Cause like Ben said, Lou kind of doesn't give you what to do. He expects us to figure that out. It's like an open-ended thing. But then his way of doing that is so that we can really exercise our creativity to the max. So I feel like, coming up with the jingle for his ads, just doing so many things that I've never done, has been really great so far. And I feel like, having been able to work for Lou and TLP, I think it's a really great start because I'm applying for summer internships now. And I think really seeing how this experience is going to be, I know it's only going to add more value to my future career paths. And there's still a lot I don't know, but I'm just really grateful for the opportunity I was able to gain through this experience. And yeah, I just really hope they'll lead me to more fulfilling careers and opportunities after Cornell and beyond.
Thank you all so much for sharing. To kind of chime in as the host, I'd say that Thrive Loud production has really pushed me to kind of step outside my comfort zone. When it comes to marketing, I've had experience with like graphics on Instagram and more of that marketing side, but now being able to host the Intern podcast has really challenged me. And with the help of Matthew, I've kind of gained that confidence of how to structure one. I've also been working on the website, specifically the forum, so that we can help podcasters who are interested in launching their own podcast or growing their audience be successful in that way. So it's definitely made me, as Mihir and Matthew have said, more confident in myself, but also more like excited for the future and how I could keep going into like communication and like the media industry in itself. So to wrap this up, if you'd like to keep up with us amazing interns after this episode, connect with us on LinkedIn. I'd say this is the best way to kind of see what we're doing and to see what we're doing. It was an honor to be your host today, and I hope that no matter where you are in life, you know that you're doing amazing.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.